Emergency blow, battle stations missile.
Battle stations,
Con, sonar, transient noise bearing 320.
730 women are living underwater right now. They share one bathroom with over 100 men. They sleep in spaces smaller than coffins. And they can't leave for 3 to 6 months straight. These aren't prisoners. These are America's submarine heroes. But here's what nobody talks about. Female submariners have a higher success rate than men. 75% compared to 74% for male sailors. How do they do it? The answer will change everything you think you know about women in the military. If you're proud of these incredible women serving our country underwater, type proud in the comments below. Today, we're going inside the world's most advanced submarines to discover exactly how America's female submariners don't just survive, they excel. The year was 2010. Defense Secretary Robert Gates made an announcement that changed naval history forever. The ban on women serving aboard submarines was officially lifted, but the real work was just beginning. The first female officers reported to Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines in 2011. These weren't small attack submarines. They were the largest submarines in the U.S. fleet, chosen specifically because they had more space and multiple bathrooms. Lieutenant Phoebe Kotlikov was among those pioneers. She walked into a world that had been exclusively male for over a century. A world built by men for men, with no consideration for anyone else. The challenges she faced would have broken most people. Equipment designed for the average American male height, periscopes positioned too high, valves requiring more upper body strength to operate. But these women didn't complain. They adapted. They proved themselves through the same rigorous training as their male counterparts. They earned their dolphins, the prestigious insignia worn by qualified submariners. When submariners finish their warfare qualifications, they earn their dolphins. Wearing the submarine warfare insignia distinguishes them as experienced, knowledgeable, and steeped in the history of the submarine force. It's tradition to read an excerpt from a World War II submarine history as the dolphins are pinned. At the end of the reading, the reader announces, "This is the salt and steel that submariners are made of." And today, we welcome another into our midst. Until recently, the submarine community was all male. Even working on a submarine base where women have been serving since 2011, female officers still regularly get double takes. Lieutenant Kotlikov described it perfectly. Last view, as I was walking into the gym, someone, their eyes having found the dolphins on my chest, reached out their hand to stop me. "Hey, you're on submarines, aren't you? You must be one of the first ones. What's it like?" This question isn't meant to be loaded, but it includes significant unspoken undertones. How does a force rooted in a tradition and history of maleness adapt to women on board? Step aboard a nuclear submarine during a deployment. The first thing that hits you isn't the technology, it's the space, or lack of it. A nuclear submarine is over 300 feet long. Sounds big, right? Wrong. 1/3 of the space is taken up by the nuclear reactor and propulsion systems. The remaining space houses between 130 to 150 crew members for months at a time. Your bedroom? A rack stacked 3 high with 2 other beds. The mattress sits inside what submariners call an aluminum coffin. You get a 5-inch deep storage bin under your mattress for all your personal belongings. That's it. Your clothes, photos, books, everything you own for 6 months fits in that tiny space. Privacy doesn't exist in the traditional sense. Officers share rooms with 3 people. They can't all stand up at the same time without bumping into each other. The enlisted crew lives in berthing areas with rows of bunks separated only by curtains. Until recently, that is. Communication with home happens only when the submarine surfaces. Email comes and goes maybe 20 times during a 6-month deployment. Every time they send a signal, they risk revealing their location. Secrecy isn't just protocol, it's survival. But here's what makes submariners special. They volunteered for this. Every single person aboard chose this life. That voluntary commitment creates something remarkable. A brotherhood and sisterhood built on shared sacrifice. Female officers deal with variables that male officers never think about. Not weak points, just extra layers they handle while delivering the same results, sometimes sharper ones. Once you see these layers, you understand why the women who make it this far are absolute powerhouses. Uniforms say a lot. Male officers blend in. Female officers stand out the second they step into a passageway. That visibility could feel like a target. They treat it like a spotlight. Every step, every order, every conversation becomes another moment to lead. Gear adds another curveball. Body armor, float coats, flight suits. Most were built around male physiology decades ago. Female officers adjust straps, shift plates, refit padding, and make it work. They don't whine about design flaws. They just solve the problem and move. Ship facilities mirror the old demographic. Thousands of shared heads, only a handful designed for women. She's got her private head in the cabin, sure, but operational tempo doesn't always give her time to get there, so she builds a mental map. Every female designated head near the bridge, pre-fly, combat systems. Time management is a tactical skill. Long deployments bring biological realities. Hair regulations add another moving part. Men just keep it short. Female officers keep hair compliant without wasting a second. Quick routines, secure styles, nothing that eats into operational focus. Physical differences matter. The ship's built for average male height and reach. Vertical ladders, heavy watertight doors, overhead valves require technique and strength. She builds both. Physical capability never becomes a question mark. Communication gets interesting. Military culture expects blunt, direct language. She calibrates her voice for clarity and authority. Orders hit clean. Execution follows. Anyone who thinks she's too direct learns fast that direct is how things get done. Social dynamics skew male, so she keeps it professional. Not distant, just clean lines. Mentorship stays objective, documented, and performance-driven. Every variable is manageable. She manages all of them while commanding operations on a nuclear submarine. Let's talk about the incredible progress our female submariners have achieved. The numbers tell a story of dedication, success, and growing opportunities that should make every American proud. As of recent reports, 730 women serve on operational submarines. They work aboard 19 nuclear-powered ballistic missile and guided missile submarines, plus 19 nuclear attack boats. These aren't token assignments. These are full operational deployments defending American interests worldwide. Recent years brought significant female officer and enlisted accessions. That represents over 20% of officer accessions and nearly 10% of enlisted personnel. The numbers show steady growth as more women choose submarine service as their career path. Here's the statistic that proves women belong on submarines: retention rates. Female enlisted submariners re-enlist at 74.9%, compared to 73.8% for men. They stay in the service longer, contributing their experience and expertise to our submarine force. Officer retention exceeds all expectations. The Navy originally projected female submarine officer retention would mirror surface warfare rates of 12.5% to 15%. Reality delivered, 25% or higher. These women commit to submarine careers at twice the expected rate. Admiral Frank Caldwell, who leads naval reactors and the nuclear community, stated it perfectly. Our female officers are crushing it. They have really done a fantastic job. This praise comes from the top leadership of our nuclear submarine force. The Navy expects to have the first female submarine commander by 2028. 2 female executive officers currently serve on submarines. They earned these positions through merit, dedication, and outstanding performance. As Lieutenant Kotlikoff explained, being a female leader on a submarine carries unique weight. As one of 4 female officers in a crew of 160, sailors pay particular attention to what she has to say. She looks different. She speaks different. Her physical readiness standards are different, and regulations allow her hair to touch her ears. Any newly reporting junior officer is the subject of the crew's discussion and interest. But female officers naturally receive even more interest. There is tremendous responsibility inherent in being a female leader. As subordinates pick apart actions, words, and leadership styles, command presence could dictate attitudes toward the few other women on board. In a small data set, each observation dramatically impacts the average. The fact is, as long as women are an extreme minority on board, their performance will be scrutinized more closely than that of their male counterparts, and they will often be grouped together. Women leaders will not find themselves under the radar, but this scrutiny presents a unique opportunity. As leaders, regardless of gender, we aim to inspire those around us through our example. As female leaders, their differences provide them a more prominent platform. These differences present a unique opportunity as sailors look to them to set standards. As a newly qualified engineering watch officer, Lieutenant Kotlikoff would stand hours of watch in the engine room with her watch team, many of whom were junior enlisted. She recognized early that she often was being tested during the watch. The conversation would slip from professional to slightly less than, and she would start to get surreptitious looks from her team. They were testing the waters, trying to determine where she would draw the line. While it frustrated her that the crew believed her to have different, perhaps more stringent, standards of professionalism than her male counterparts, she relished the opportunity to set the standard. In addition to resetting expectations for professionalism in the workplace, a female leader on a submarine has the opportunity to demonstrate that, like job performance, leadership is gender independent. A woman may display the same or different leadership traits as her male peers. Sailors who admire her leadership skills will have a new data point in their mental calculus. They will see a successful leader who looks very different from the rest of the crew and the captain. September 14th, 2024 marked a historic moment. The USS New Jersey became the first submarine in history designed from the ground up for complete gender integration. This wasn't about retrofitting old designs. This was about reimagining what a modern submarine could be. The biggest change? Doors. Lots of them. Where previous submarines used curtains for privacy, the New Jersey installed solid doors. Berthing areas now have separate sections with proper lockable doors. Washrooms include additional partitions and privacy features. But the changes go deeper than privacy. Overhead valves were repositioned lower and made easier to operate. Steps were installed in front of triple-high bunks and stacked washing machines. These might seem like small details, but they make a huge difference during a 3-month patrol. The submarine's medical facilities were upgraded to handle women's specific health needs. This includes proper medication storage, disposal systems for feminine hygiene products, and protocols for pregnancy-related medical situations. The Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines, America's newest strategic deterrent, will incorporate all these design improvements. They'll even include step stools for shorter sailors to use the periscope effectively. These submarines represent a multi-billion-dollar investment in gender equality. But more than that, they represent recognition that diverse crews are more effective crews. Different perspectives solve problems better. Different experiences create stronger teams. The successful integration of women into submarine service carries enormous strategic significance. Submarines remain the most powerful symbols of American undersea dominance and our ability to operate undetected anywhere in the world. When submarines are operational, they provide options that no other military asset can match. A single submarine can influence events across vast areas of ocean. The presence of American submarines changes calculations for potential adversaries. Consider the global situation America faces today. Rival nations are rapidly expanding their naval forces. Adversaries continue to challenge American interests in multiple regions. In this environment, submarine capability becomes absolutely critical. Adding women to these crews isn't about fairness, though fairness matters. It's about effectiveness. Diverse teams solve complex problems better. Different perspectives catch details others might miss. Varied backgrounds bring creative solutions to operational challenges. The Navy has discovered that submarines with integrated crews often outperform all male crews in training scenarios. Communication improves. Teamwork becomes more professional. The focus shifts from social dynamics to mission accomplishment. This transformation extends beyond individual submarines. The entire submarine community has evolved. Standards remain high, but culture has improved. Professional behavior is expected and enforced. Merit determines advancement, not gender. 730 women are proving every day that courage, skill, and dedication have no gender boundaries. They're serving in the most demanding environment in the U.S. military, excelling at the highest levels, and paving the way for future generations. These aren't stories about surviving despite being women. These are stories about succeeding because they're outstanding submariners who happen to be women. They've earned their place through the same rigorous training, the same high standards, and the same commitment to excellence as every submariner before them. The first female submarine commanding officer will take command by 2028. She'll lead a crew of men and women united by their voluntary commitment to serve America beneath the waves. That moment will mark not just a milestone for women in the military, but a victory for American naval excellence. The future of America's submarine force includes everyone qualified to serve. Gender doesn't determine capability. Character does. Skill does. Dedication does. These women possess all three in abundance. Lieutenant Kotlikov said it best when describing a female Chief Petty Officer's dolphin pinning ceremony. As the reading finished, she couldn't stop the tears from running down her face. Another chief saw her and froze. "Ma'am, what is going on?" "Submariners don't cry." She laughed and wiped her hand across her face, showing him her tears. "This is the salt and steel submariners are made of." Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey behind the scenes of America's underwater heroes. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible service of our female submariners, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the brave men and women defending our nation. Until next time, stay proud of the greatest submarine force in the world.